Know that the prayers of the righteous availeth much. Prayers of the righteous availeth much. We pray, we believe, we receive what we ask in His name. All things are possible. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Hood to the Community, featuring For Our Kids today. We got a lot of talk points or topics that we want to discuss today, and we also have a special guest that we would like to introduce you to. Um, so I'll give her the opportunity to just give us some insight on who she is and why she's here today. Thank you. Go ahead.
Well, hello, my name is Angela Hall, and I'm here to discuss uh, an opportunity for people to become entrepreneurs, own their own business. It gives you an opportunity to build wealth, it gives you an opportunity to build legacy and learn about our planet because you get to travel.
Wow.
Wonderful.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing. And of course, all of you guys know me. Um, thank you. Thank you for joining me. Before we get into any one topic, I have to talk about what the whole country is talking about. I watched the video. I seen evil that has taken over so much of our entire world. That was evil. And if anyone says it's anything else, then you are not aware of that being just one component of the evil that I am talking about. You see, that was a visual evil. And of course, I'm talking about the death of a young man who cried for his mother while five men beat him to death. Now, I know a lot of others have commented on that, but it was not just one individual that lost their life that day, it was six. You see, five fathers, five brothers, five uncles, five men in our community participated rather in beating one individual. The one individual that was trying to go home. One of the greatest things the devil has convinced us of is that he does not exist. And I'm going to go there because I've watched over the years how he has successfully been able to take Christ out of our school systems, out of our government office, out of the home, where anything and everything, it's okay. Do you see the results? Because regardlessly of who was swinging those fists, regardless of who was kicking, they were being controlled by a higher power. Some of you're going to say that I am talking about religion, and I definitely am not. You see, one of the things that I don't know if you're aware of, they were part of a special unit called the Scorpion Unit. A scorpion
I heard
unit
too.
that stings. So that mentality that you've seen, it probably made them think that they were better than some of the people that they were meant to serve. So, how can I now have a conversation with my your son, your nephews? How can I have a conversation to tell them that they have the support of African American men in our community that happens to wear a blue uniform? You see, we cannot make this, not this one, about race. Of course, that still exists. We're not going to take it off the table. But what would possess anyone to beat that man the way that he was beaten, handcuffed? He did not pose a threat. And the problem here is this. After a while, this too shall fade into the past, just like Floyd did, just like many others in our community when it was caught on video, when it could not be denied. But I'm going to say this. This is a demon that has taken over our community in so many areas. Church, religion, I'm calling it out because I'm not talking about religion. A lot of our churches have failed us. They are building monuments. They're building the pastor up. They're using language to steal. So I'm not a fan of religion at all. I'm talking about a relationship. That's what's missing. I'm talking about love. I'm talking about compassion. That is what you experience when you have a relationship with the Most High. Do you know that if you mention the word Christ in some platforms, you can't even get a message out? And you're going to tell me that we are not being controlled by higher powers? Look at your kids. I've had conversations with many parents where the kids are so disrespectful. They do not care about their grandparents, their parents. They have a sense of truth, and no matter what you say to them, that's their truth. I've experienced it in my own home where I know what our conversations were, but somehow it has been twisted in their minds where there is a sense of superiority where they think they know more than you and they have lived maybe 15 minutes compared to your 24 hours. I have watched churches where they get up and they perform as though they are having a concert of some sort, and they rhyme and they tell you to look at your neighbor, to look up and to look down. But the only thing that they're doing, they're creating an energy that only lasts temporary. So when they get out of there, that spirit has not been effective because of the way that this whole world has become. This is more than just about what you have seen. This is about our politics. I had someone call it respectable politics. Person that I have a great respect for. I love this person, but I say she's wrong. This is not about respectable politics. This is about us respecting each other no matter what position that you're in. This is not about what your next election should be about. This is not about where and how you should run. What about doing what you were elected for? What about serving the community? We no longer elect officials based on what they have done. We now are electing officials based on relationships that we have established with them. You do this for me, I'll do that for you. Let's all keep it in the center, though. Let's not feed those that have supported us. And then when people like myself get up and we say something, we also are condemned. What are we doing to our kids? Look around. And you want to tell me that Satan doesn't exist? Are you serious? Families, I've experienced that as well. They have a perception of you that they think that you are a certain way. But God knows who you are, and as long as you follow him, they can't touch you. So that's what this is going to be about. I am hurting. I'm disturbed. Not just because of the video. I was disturbed before I see it. I was just waiting to see what would excite us next, because we've become desensitized to so many things. Satan is having his way in and out. Now, you may think that that's religious, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you waking up, because if you don't, especially in the urban community, we won't have a future. Young man killed last night, shot multiple times. I believe it was Bedford, 13 years old. What are we doing? I'm going to tell you something. It's not just about the politics, but they're part of it. It's not just about the mother and father, but they're part of it. It's not just about the media, but it's part of it. It's not just about our church, but it's part of it. We have so many problems. Pick one. But at the end of the day, at the end of the night, it better start with prayer, because I believe that's the only thing that's going to be able to save us. It's always about the dollar. It's always about my little clique. Pay attention to those that you put in office. It's always political. It's never about the value systems that Christ has always told us to be cautious of, which is love, serving each other, caring about each other. Everybody now thinks you have a hidden agenda because they have a hidden agenda. And I'm not saying you can't enjoy your life. I believe that God made everything that you see around you. However, something is wrong. And if we don't wake up, you getting ready to see a severe nightmare. Because anytime your own siblings don't respect you, you can't get truth to them. They still stand on this sense of entitlement. They still have this narcissistic type of thinking where no matter what, they will not look at themselves. You know where that comes from? That comes from the very household sometimes that they live in, sometimes not. But I'm going to say this to everybody out there. We need to first look within, because we got a problem, and it's not going to be solved on CNN, MSBN, Reb Sharpton, any of those individuals. It's only going to be solved when we take this serious and we look at our kids and we make them a priority. And I'm going to tell you something. I'm not going to hold all police responsible for that ignorance that you've seen, because I know a lot of police officers and they're good people. I'm sorry, but they're good people. No longer is it okay to agree to disagree. If I say that I like a Republican, I'm against a Democrat. If I say I like a white person, I'm an Uncle Tom. This is not about any of that. This is about speaking truth, seeing things through clear lenses. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of it. And I've been saying the same thing over and over again. It's not about religion. It's about relationships. You cannot combine all of the things that are happening and just say every policeman is bad, because I'm going to tell you something. I don't want to live in a community where we don't have them. It's just that we got some people that are controlled by demonic forces. Now, it reminded me of the Passion of Christ. And I don't want to say that that brother was anything like my Jesus. But what I am saying is this. The way they beat him, The way they kept beating him, I found myself saying the same thing when I watched the movie. And it was just, stop hitting him. Stop hitting him. Enough. When are we going to realize this is not the way that human beings are supposed to be with each other? Look, this one message is not going to change much of anything. But at the very least, let it at least start a conversation. And that's what I want to do. Now, this is my wife here. I've been married now for 31 years. I met this young lady, and I knew it was God intent because I went somewhere, and I didn't know what to do about a situation that I knew it was not my fault. I was blindsided by it, and everything just lined up correctly. So what I want to do is get your opinion. You have a son?
I have 2 grandsons, no son.
So I want to know what and how. Did you see the video?
I couldn't watch the video. I watched George Floyd, and at that point, you made a comment that people become numb to things, and I don't want to become numb to it. So I chose not to watch it, and I know it would be painful for me, so that's why I chose not to watch it.
That's good. He cried for his mama. He cried for his mama. What's your opinion, baby?
You know, I've had the unfortunate experience of almost losing my son. So being able to see from the lenses of a mother, it's very scary. It's very scary, and I feel like it's time for us to do something. It doesn't matter what we do, but we have to do something. And so that's where I'm at. I think that all of us in our own individual communities need to at least start with our council person. I bet I could probably count on one hand the number of people that actually on a routine basis go to a city council meeting. You don't even know what's taking place in your own community, so how can you expect certain things when you don't even know? So you got to take the initiative to do something.
Council meetings, PTA meetings. We don't get involved. It's like we have our own little circle. And I watched, and it's getting to a point where it's almost sickening. I see the same thing, and it seems like it's fake. Nothing is real anymore. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, I've noticed that. I've noticed that many people are just about themselves. And if you allow me, I remember back a long time ago, we as a community, we really looked out for each other.
Mhm.
We really cared about, on the street, on my street growing up, we always respected the other people on the street,
Sure.
and the other people on the street looked out for us
Mhm.
too.
Yeah, we had the
And-
block watches.
Yeah,
Remember?
we used to have block
Block
watches,
watch. Yeah.
and your mother, if you did something, your parents knew about it before
Mhm.
you even got home.
Exactly.
And if they saw you maybe getting into some trouble or whatever, they would say something to you,
Yeah.
and you didn't have to worry about the adult didn't have to worry about the younger person saying
Saying
terrible
anything
things
bad.
back to
Mhm.
them, and I started getting to the point as an adult that I decided I don't care if a child, and I consider a child 18, says something negative to me because I chastise him because I
Mhm.
see him doing something.
Right.
I have to be that way now because, like he said, we don't we act like it's just us, and we don't it doesn't involve me.
Yeah.
But that's how this stuff is
Yeah.
happening. We're not saying anything.
Yeah. We're dropping the
not
ball.
speaking up.
We're dropping the ball on so many different levels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I wanted to contribute to that.
Excuse me, but we've dropped the ball.
Mhm.
We don't have one issue. Someone said to me, we were better when we were under pressure and we were dealing with civil rights and some of the other things. The leaders that we have now, are they true leaders? Where are our leaders? Where are our gatekeepers? Who would you say is a true leader? Give me a community. I see people doing things, but what's the purpose of them doing it? Do they really have an agenda that does not just solely pertain to them and their family? Because that's what I see politicians doing mostly. They are doing things to plan for their next election. Now, don't get me wrong, there's some good people out there, and I know Republicans that I like that don't, and I'm not talking about those mega type of Republicans. Now, just because you like some Republicans does not mean that you're talking about the extremists, because they got some issues. But I get some of the people that we may divide on some of the things, okay, but we come together in so many other things. Why can't we learn to agree to disagree?
You gotta have both sides.
You must.
You have to. You can't just. It can't all just be Democrat. It has to be both sides, and you can't hate everybody just because they happen to be a different nationality than you. We gotta have variety, and I've always said God likes color. That's why He made so many flowers.
Mm.
So,
That's beautiful.
you know.
Mhm.
So just because I have a friend who is a Republican and he's black, he's still my friend.
I know a judge that's Republican. I like the guy. And I'm gonna tell you how I like why I watched him when he didn't even know I was watching him. And I sat in his courtroom on 5 different occasions. The guy was fair. I don't care. And then I got to know him, and he's just like anybody else out here. Now, the problem is this. Can I support this guy without getting a backlash from the Democrats when they have not done pretty much of anything? I mean, and then at the same time, I have some Democrats that I showed a lot of love to, and they actually tried to destroy me. And so the people that hurt me, they look like me. And then if they can't manipulate me, they attack me.
Yeah.
So you want to talk about evil? It goes much further than just a physical beatdown. It's a mental beatdown. It's a system beatdown. Look what we are doing to our own community. That was black on black that happens every day. They just happen to be in a police uniform.
I think we need to see that.
Mhm. And listen, I'm going to say it again. That was black on black. They just happened to be in a police uniform. I'm going to tell you, that what you see, that happens every day. It's just that they were not getting paid for it. That happens in your school system. That happens in your neighborhood. What we do to our own people, it starts here. There's this sense that we think we're better than some of the people that live next to us. We're jealous because some have made it. We take it personal. We are so geared with personality quirks. That's what we tend to attack, opposed to just putting all those things aside and centering in on a common goal. Do you know how much we could accomplish if we did not truly care who gets the credit?
Yeah.
And then wait a minute. You know me, baby. You know me better than probably anybody. What gets me, I would see people try to attack me and then look at you like you should not be with me, giving you no credit for even having the sense to say, would you think I would stay with someone that would abuse, manipulate? You follow what I'm saying?
Oh, I understand a whole lot.
Yeah.
It's just, like you said, people have their own impression, their own interpretation of situations that they really don't know about.
Nothing at all.
They assume more than they actually know, and as a result, you get that negative feedback. You get the negative actions, and a lot of times in situations that have happened between you and I, that's what it's been. People have assumed, and then based on their assumptions, they make decisions that are totally off because of it. So it's unfortunate, but you know when you know that you are doing the right thing, when you know that you have not intentionally done anything to hurt anyone, you have to be satisfied with that and not allow yourself to be consumed with what that person thinks of you.
That's good. And you and I, we have been through some battles.
Absolutely.
I know that we put a lot into raising our family, our extended families, and Satan has just consumed even the way that they handle things. And that's how I know something is not right here. I have watched a truth form in someone's head. I was there and I knew it wasn't true, but they are adamant that that's what happened. And I think that's what happens more often than not in a lot of our surrounding areas.
And then sometimes too, you start out with a small lie, and you got to keep making that lie bigger because you can't get away with just a small lie. You got to keep building it up. And so you tell a small lie that leads to another lie, and then before you know it, it's just like the whole story is out of control. So yeah, it's crazy how how the enemy allows himself to work within us in our minds in the way we think.
That's because we don't turn to look at ourselves. Now, there's another issue that we have, and that is there's a lot of things that we could use to help our community. One of the problems that we have is our economics. That's the reason that I wanted you to be here, because God does not intend for you to live a life where all you do is just sit back in a room and pretend that you are trying to be perfect, because you can't pretend to be perfect. You are who you are. Thank God for grace, because if it wasn't for grace, I would be tore up today. But I want you to talk a little bit about uh, what you and I had discussed when I first had met you, okay, and why I was so intrigued with it, and I told you that I was definitely going to help you.
Okay.
So tell about what you are doing.
So I'm part of a organization, and I'm a liken it to like Avon and Mary Kay.
All right.
With Avon and Mary Kay, you are an independent contractor with them, and you invest in it. You buy your bags, your books, and in Mary Kay's case, you buy the makeup and all of that kind of
Mhm.
stuff. So, and then you try to sell it and try to get a commission. Well, this organization is it's a travel agency, and you are an independent contractor, and the agency the has relationships with every major supplier, um, Disney, Universal Studios, just about every major hotel from Marriott to Hilton to everything, all of the cruise lines, and you can pretty much get started. I mean, this will be your own business, yours, where you can book travel for yourself and for friends and family. It's not a club, it is a business. You learn how to become an entrepreneur, and you can start from the bottom. You can start like
How did you get involved?
well, when I was doing my was it 30 year class reunion back in 2014, one of my classmates, we had a little committee, and he was always booking trips. And we every time we would talk about the class reunion details, he would always pause because he's booking a trip for somebody. And I asked him, I said, "What are you doing? Are you booking trips?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "Well, is that a home based business?" Now, mind you, I had decided I was done with that kind of stuff because Avon was, I wasn't making any money with Avon. I was chasing people to pay me back.
Mhm.
Same with Mary Kay. Mary Kay, I kept that product forever. He said, "You want to do this?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, I want you to go check this out." He told me where to go. All I heard was, "I can get paid for the travel that I do." And I do travel. I mean, I've been places, but usually when I pay that money out to go, the airfare, renting a car, staying in a hotel, eat my food, that money goes out and that's the end of it. But when I got started in this organization, which was, I'm gonna say 7 years ago, now I can write all of that off on my taxes,
Mhm.
and it's because it's an actual business. Um, I get, I used to work at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse,
Okay.
and I started traveling, and I kept posting it. And one of the other people, one of my other associates said, "Hey, are you booking trips?" And I said, "Yeah." He was my first customer. He wanted to go on a cruise. He said, "Can you put a cruise together for me and my wife? We haven't taken a honeymoon yet."
Mm.
I said, "Sure. Where do you want to go?" So I didn't know how to do it. I called. He wanted to go on Norwegian. He knew when he wanted to go and how long he wanted to stay. So I called Norwegian. I said, "Hey, I am a travel agent. I have a guest or a client who wants to go somewhere. I have no idea how to do it. Can you help me?"
Mhm.
They said, "Sure." So they made sure that I was in good standing with the organization. Once they made sure I was in good standing, they literally put it together for me. That's how easy it was. And they still sent me the email for me and for him. And I got a commission. I was like, "Oh, I love this." You know,
Now, I'm gonna tell you why I like that. I want to teach it to some of my young folks.
hmm
See, what we need to do, we need to network with organizations like that. But what we do, we criticize before we know anything about it.
yes.
So when you said it, I opened up my door. And I do that with many people. I take the time to listen. Now, me and my wife, we want to go on a cruise. That's another reason I wanted to surprise her. So we're gonna book through you too. She's been trying to do this. So we're gonna book through you. So this is not just about you telling about it.
Okay.
You're gonna get a sale today.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Because to actually be a business owner, there is an investment. So, I just want to say there is
Why don't we do this? Have them call you, put your number up, whatever number you want to give,
okay.
and then that's the way. Let them discuss it because, like, what you want to do, you really don't want to put out partial details.
Right.
Okay, you want to tell how the whole thing works because they're gonna act like they're gonna ask for percentages, how it's gonna be returned, their initial investment,
Yeah.
and this show a lot of times it's just not enough time to do that.
Right. Understood. Yeah.
Hmm.
But let me just tell you real quick. When I first started doing this and I realized what it was and I realized it was real, I told everybody. I was excited because it was so real and no one believed me.
Exactly, because when something is too easy, it can't be real. Do you mind telling the name of your organization?
So it's in teletravel, and so it's not a club. There's many clubs out there, but this is an actual business. And teletravel has been around for over 30 years. It is the original at-home travel agency.
How did we get involved? Because my wife and I, we're empty nesters, okay, and we've been married 31 years, so they only got us. I mean, we got them by 1 year, so.
Okay, okay. Um, so okay, so I have a relation. We in teletravel and Planet Marketing have a relationship, an exclusive relationship. So if you just want to be a client, I'm more than happy.
No, 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 no,
But
no,
if
no,
you
no.
want to become a business owner, which is the best way, then you would purchase your travel agency through me.
Well, that's what we're talking about
Yeah.
today. I want to know more about it. That's
Do
why.
you want me to give prices now?
Actually, if you're comfortable with it,
If you are, I am.
listen, you're on here. You got a
Okay.
venue. Do what you do.
So thank you. I just wanted permission. So it's two businesses in one. So, but you don't have to do both of them. You can do just the one. But I do both of them. So both of them together is $199.90. So the marketing side is the Planet Marketing side. That's the side that allows me to sell you a travel agency, and you get a website for that, and it's 19.95 a month. The IntelliTravel side is the 179.90. That's one time. You get a website, and then it's 39.95 a month to maintain that website. So you think about that overhead. McDonald's overhead is how much? Marriott's overhead is how much? Go ahead.
Tell us about the dollars you're making.
Okay, so I just show you some things. I have people who are direct to me, and a lady, I didn't even know this was coming. She had booked a huge trip. She lives in Virginia. She got a commission of 1,640 some dollars I saw $164 in my account, didn't know where it came from, and I kept looking at it and I saw that it said deposit from IntelliTravel. So I got an override, 10% override because she got over $1,000 commission. That lady just came back from Cape Town. She went on a cruise, and when she joined me like 6 years ago, she was 66 years old at the time when she became my business partner. Literally yesterday, her daughter just gained two business partners yesterday. So that excites me because my team is growing. So there's something about my business. My business, we let you create a legacy. So when you grow, if you choose to, if you, because you don't have to, that's what I love about it. It's your business. No one's going to make you have quotas or anything like that. And you can learn and get certified with different cruise lines, the trains, the buses, and everything. But it's at your pace. It's at your pace. And you won't be by yourself. You always have somebody who's going to help you, always.
This is really something that we need to also understand. Uh, Anytime it's an opportunity to help someone in our communities and other individuals, why don't we start by extending an invitation? Not everyone is going to get this, but what we are saying is at least be open to listen.
To listen.
Yes.
Yeah.
What would you say about that?
That is true because I have had at least I've had at least four people, and I have over 80 people in my organization. But I've had people who I talked to 4 and 5 years ago, and didn't pay me any attention because oh, it's one of those things. And now they're my business partner. They just reached out to me because they watched me. You know, my sister, who I would have loved for her to be my first business partner. Um, she spoke so negatively about it. I stopped talking to her about it, and she said to me one day, she said, "What are you doing with that travel thing? You don't talk about it anymore." I said, "I don't talk about it to you." I said, "But I'm still doing this 7 years later, and I love it. I mean, I get a regular.
Do you travel a lot?
Oh my goodness, I have been to Punta Cana for 5 days. We had butler service and a jacuzzi in every room. It was just a little over $500. That was all inclusive. Now that was a familiarization trip because the resort that we went to, they want you to go as a travel agent and tour it. They want you to see it. They want you to come back and tell people about it. So the only work you do is that one day, maybe an hour of a tour. That's it. That's what you do. And then the rest of the time, that's your time. That's your time. We have something getting ready to come up, and it's called IntelliQuest. And that so Planet Marketing has conventions, and IntelliTravel has conventions. And IntelliQuest is where vendors come, like they're going to a resort, and vendors come out there and they tell you about their product. I learned about riverboat cruises. I didn't even know we had riverboat cruises. The different resorts that are in other areas. I learned about the Riu, and how they do everything for you as a guest. You don't even have to lift a finger. They do everything for you. So and it's wonderful. So and then I went to so I said Punta Cana. Did I say Punta Cana?
Yes, you did.
Okay, Punta Cana. We went to Dubai. Not to well, we did have
Dubai?
We had people who went to Dubai. I didn't go, but they paid like I think 2,000 to Dubai. That includes the airfare. That includes the hotel accommodations.
At the very least,
That was
because of the pricing, it's worth looking into. Now, I'm gonna tell you why it's important to me. I am trying to create networks in our community, and that's what this is. Do you know how many people from different walks of life you can meet if you join different situations and get to know different people? Because that's what's wrong. We are not talking to each other. We are so caught up in what's in our palm that we no longer communicate face to face. And when you go out and you meet different people at these different resorts and different things, you get a chance to communicate and to do different things.
And we have people in the UK. We have people in Jamaica. There's a man in the UK who has come over here 5 times to help me specifically.
Is he African American?
He is.
And that's what I want to see. We're everywhere. We're everywhere. And see, that's what I want to have I want to have a conversation with individuals that look like me in other countries.
Oh, he'd be more than happy.
So listen, getting back to some other things that we're doing, Truth and Vision, we have a diversity program. Our main mission is youth leadership and development. I have to do something. It has gotten to the point now where it seems like I don't have a choice. Now, I'm not going to keep you, baby. You got anything that you want to add in closing?
I think it's just so important that we realize that we have all of the things that are available that are helpful to us. Let's take advantage of those things and stop making excuses. We don't have to make an excuse anymore. We have access to just as many, if not more, opportunities than anybody else of any other race, culture. So we need to utilize those things and not make excuses.
So, what I want to know is if they got somebody out there that wants to help promote, or rather, that needs help promoting what they're doing, what their mission is, what they're selling, I'm offering you an open venue. As long as it's not negative and it's positive, I welcome you. And in the coming weeks, my wife and I, we're going to be making an announcement. But I thank you for your time, and we're not going to keep you long. But this is for the kids. Let's go back to prayer. Agreed?
Yes.
You want to
Absolutely.
say anything in closing?
I wanted to give my phone number.
Please do. Mhm.
So if anyone is interested and wants to learn more, my name is Angela Hall, and my number is 216-502-8264. If you text me and let me know
Say it again. This time, say it a little slower so they can get their
Okay.
ink pen ready. Okay.
216-502-8264. Angela Hall. Please call me, text me, let me know that you are interested. You want to hear more. I'm
Well, we're going to have
more
some
than
seminars
happy.
here for you, Angie. You
Yeah.
haven't seen my whole facility, but this is about helping each other. I'm trying to start something that I hope will grow out of this. Let's support each other. What is going on? And let's not listen. God did not save just black folks. God did not save just white folks. God did not just save Democrats, Muslim, Russians. He saved man. And there was not, God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. He says, whoever. So I want to get off of categories. And to the politicians out there, stop being so selfish. You were put here to serve the community. Let's not just make this about your next election. Let's make this about the people that have elected you to do a job. Not at all people. I'm not talking to one specific person. I'm talking to those that have not looked in the mirror and said, I need to change. Because if you ever get so high and you think that because you have a position that you're above anybody, just like those 5 cops, I don't care whether you are a council person, I don't care whether you are a mayor, I don't care whether you're the president, you got a problem and you're being controlled by evil. I want to thank you for your time. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you, baby.
That was pretty good. So, no,
I didn't know what to expect.
so I think we're going in such a direction now that it's more informative. Before, I think we were kind of like, I felt like it was just giving our perspectives, but now it's enlightenment. It's in, making people
Evolving.
aware. Yeah. So it's becoming a little bit more positive.